So there we are. I have to say I am not real happy with those spray cans and the way that they functioned. I love the color, but the cans were not consistent in their spray pattern. And you get that sometimes. Every manufacturer's got 4 or 5 different types of nozzles they put on things, and these are supposed to do a job. They made a nice wide pattern, but it wasn't a consistent pattern, and they tend to drip, which caused several problems here that I'm not happy with. But you know what? The point is here that we got ourselves a decent looking paint job. It's going to be a matte color, so when it dries out completely, it won't be glossy. It'll be a matte finish on it, and that's what I'm after. Interestingly enough, dark colors always show up bodywork problems, and I had a little dent over here. It was actually a place that was lifted. You can kind of see it right in there where the light changes color a little bit. I tapped it down the other day and got it a little too far, but it's not showing up as bad as I expected. But what I did find is I've got one right there that's showing up worse than I want. And I don't know, we'll see. I may go back and bodywork that and just spray some more paint over it. We'll have to see how that works. But overall, there you go. That's what our paint job is going to look like. Yeah, there's a few streaks in it here, but remember, this is low buck. This thing's supposed to look cool from 30 feet away, not when you get up next to it with a magnifying glass. That's what we're after here. If you want a fancier paint job, you're going to have to spend the money for it. But this way, you get a car that goes from being ratty looking, like the rest of this thing, to all of a sudden being respectable looking, at least from a distance. And that's what we're after. So we'll carry on here, and I'm going to carry that dark color up over the roof and up here and down through the tailgate panel and the spoiler area there. And then the sides are going to be red, and we're going to put some stripes and stuff like that on it to dress it up a little bit. So there you go, and we'll show you as we move along here some of the different things that we do. So here's the unmasked finished job on the hood, and as I was doing that, that reminded me of a couple other things that I really like about doing this kind of a paint job. For one thing, it dries quickly. Normally I can't unmask a paint job on a pro paint job for 4 to 8, maybe 10 hours safely, because you might stick something in it. But I made that last segment of the video for whatever time it took, 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes, something, and as soon as I shut that off, I unmasked the hood and started in on the next section of the project. So it's really quick to be able to do that, and you lessen your chances of screw ups and things like that. The second thing that reminded me is a pointer for doing a spray can paint job is stay out of direct sunlight. This stuff dries so fast that if you're spraying in direct sunlight, the pass you just made dries out before you can lay a fresh pass over it, and that's one of the big things that gets a lot of streaks in things. When you're painting, one of the big things you're trying to do is control your drying rates and your flow rates and things, and so you want to stay out of the direct sunlight. The last project that I had to do it outside, but I made sure that I got in a place, on a side of the house that was in the shade or something like that, because I wanted to avoid that. And this one, fortunately, I have a garage to do it in, and so it's allowing me to be able to solve that problem. So here we are. I've prepped up the roof section, and we're going to be spraying that next. I'll show you that, and then we'll prep up the tail section and do it too. So here we go. So we got the dark gray section all finished here. I got the tail all wrapped up. It came out really good. I didn't show you actually the roof after we got it painted, but it worked out alright, and we got it, and all came out pretty decent. So I used a total of 5 cans of paint. on this. Again, I've only had, out of those 5, only about 1 or 2 of them really sprayed correctly, so I'm not giving great kudos to that particular style of paint can. You might want to pick something slightly different when you're doing it. Paint seems fine, but just you need a good spray pattern out of a paint can when you're doing this kind of thing. But there we go. Pretty happy with the way it's turned out for my cheap low-light paint job. And now we'll get on to the red parts and doing some of the other things that have got to be done here. Got it all untaped here. There's another little detail thing we can do here. If you look right there, even despite my masking, we got some overspray somewhere. But if you'll take some lacquer thinner and get on this fairly quickly, it'll come off really easily, and you don't have to do anything more than just rub on it a little bit. And there we go. We got that little spot cleaned up. Just a detail thing that's kind of what the whole car hobby is about, is getting the details nice. So anyway, I'm going to go spend some time going around and wiping up a few of those spots that I've got here and there, and we'll let you know. But there's just a couple of them, but just another fun little detail to add to your job to make it a little nicer. Yeah, so it's Eldon back here. We've got the black part of the paint job, or the oil rub bronze color, whatever you want to call it, all finished now. And just wanted to come here and do this as a wrap-up video to this thing. I'm sure you're not seeing it really great there, but I'm actually sitting here at probably 2 or 3 weeks after I actually finished this part of the paint job. I've been working on the engine and some things like that, but I pulled the thing out in the sunshine to turn it around so I could work on the motor in the garage here, and it actually looks better in the sunshine than it does here in the shop. So I'm excited about that. Those streaks kind of go away, and I actually also think that as I get some wax put on this thing, that we're going to get a much better look on it, and it'll protect that paint and everything. So anyway, here's kind of, you can see the black part. We go from the hood up onto the roof of the car here, and follows down over the trunk and through the spoiler, and that's kind of the part that's going to be the dark color. Then we're going to come in here, and everything else that's still red on the car, we're going to end up painting that with a color called Poppy Red. And again, I'm going to use a matte color on this because I don't want to go for a gloss. And we'll get that on there, and then we'll come back through, and I've got a layout for some stripes and some things like that I want to put on it that are going to make this car stand out. And again, I'm not going to spend a bunch of money on it, but this car is going to be distinctive. It's going to drive down the street. It's not going to be an oddball. It's going to look cool, kind of a race car theme to it, road racing theme. So I think it's going to look really sharp. And again, we're going to spend $100 or less on the total paint job here, plus a little bit of our time. So I'm pleased with the way it's working out. We'll wrap up here and get some more paint on this thing and show you some more pictures of the red parts in the next episode of the Crazy Dad Camaro. Here you go.